Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you? So we are here to talk about the different case studies. Now the first case study is about the educational leadership, administration and the management. Now this case there is a great interest in educational leadership in the early parts of 21st century. This is because of the widespread belief that the quality of education makes significant difference to school and student outcomes. In many parts of the world, there is recognition that schools require effective leaders and managers if they are to provide the best possible education for their learners. As the global economy rather pace, more governments are realizing that their main assets are their people, and that many are becoming competitive depends increasingly on the development of highly skilled workforce. This requires trained and committed teachers, but they in turn need the leadership of highly effective principals and the support of other senior and middle managers. The field of educational leadership and management is pluralist with many competing perspectives and an inevitable lack of agreement on the exact nature of the discipline. Now here are some questions that we are going to talk about. Now, question number one is to examine the impact of head teacher on school performance and school achievement. The impact of head teachers on the school performance and student achievement. So I have tried to summarize some of them. One is influencing teaching quality. You know, teacher or head teacher is someone who represents other teachers in some organization or school. Now that headmaster has a great influence on the teachers, students, and even other administrative leaders. Now, effective principals provide leadership and supports trained and committed teachers, ensuring they have necessary education to excel. Now, when school has an effective headmaster or head teacher, that head teacher has a great impact to influence trained and committed teachers for better outcomes of the school and even the effectiveness of the school performance. Now, setting direction. A headmaster, as someone who has these responsibilities, has to set direction, giving a line for teachers to follow for better achievement of school performance. Now, avoiding managerialism, this in brief, it means how those headmasters have to plan for better management of school resources, for using using in proper way the school resources, responding to external pressure. Leadership involves interpreting government policies and formal.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Okay, my name is Jafet. We are going to continue by looking to the second case study, which is talking about the students and the teachers benefit from human resource management. Here, we are going to indeed to see how those human resource management can motivate teachers in their professionalism. So, the necessary for schools and to implement human resource management is increasingly acknowledged. Specifically, human resource management hold the potential to increase students' outcomes through the increased involvement, empowerment, and the motivation of teachers. Here, we will see how students who are involved, who are empowered, and who are motivated by teacher can reach to the extent to what they are doing. So in the educational literature, however, little empirical attention is paid to how different human resource management practices should be bundled into a comprehensive human resource management system and how this could best be implemented to attain positive teacher and student outcomes. Regarding the content and following the ability, which is motivation, opportunity, theory of performance, it is argued that human resource management system should comprise three factors. The first, ability, which is A. The second one is motivation, started by M. And the last one is opportunity, which is O. And they must be enhanced in human resource management practices. So, regarding the process and based on human resource management system strength, literature argues that when teachers perceive human resource management as distinctive and consistent, and if they perceive consensus, this will enhance teachers and schools' performance, as said by Luna in 2016. So we are going in deep to see how those ability, motivation, and opportunity can emphasize into teachers and schools' professionalism. Here, the required is this. We are going to draw from what we have seen and explain as a school teacher. We are going to assume we as a school teacher leaders. So, what to do to enhance ability, motivation, and opportunity within the school context in your response or in our response. So, we have to develop and discuss practical strategies for staff development, showing how leadership action can strengthen teachers' professional skills. For example, for ability, for increasing their commitment and morale, which is motivation, and to create supportive structures and conditions, which is opportunity that enable staff to perform effectively and contribute to improve school outcomes. So we're going to in depth see how those three factors, ability, motivation, and opportunity, they can enable a staff members, they are called teachers and schools, to perform effectively and contribute to improve school outcomes. So we can go to the next slide. So here there is a brief of how those three factors can improve and can contribute effectively to the outcomes. First one, ability.
Okay. Yes. Good morning again. I'm called University of Rwanda. I'm going to present about the core competence of a school leader. The school leadership, as we know, the school leadership influence the educational setting, the teaching, the curriculum in different aspects. That's why there should be a competencies that a leader of the school must have. The today focus is we are going to see about 4 main core competencies that a school leader must have. The first one is ethical leadership, accountability, and professional responsibilities. By starting, when you say core competence, we are dealing with the skills, knowledge, and behaviors the knowledge and the skills that a reader must have about the readership. Why he is in readership, that is what we mean a core competence. And that skills and knowledge will guide how he will make a decision and how he will manage the school. It means that the knowledge and the skills someone have will guide him in making a decision. Continue. By starting, the first core competence is about ethical leadership. When we say ethics, it's about the moral and the moral values and what is wrong and what is right. This ethical leadership is the one of the core competence that guides the leadership. Acting with integrity, fairness, and moral responsibilities in making decisions based on what is right. It means that one of the examples of core competence is this ethical leadership, where a leader must decide by using a fair and integrity one. The key features for this ethical leadership is about integrity and honesty. It means that a leader must do what he has to do in his leadership using integrity and honesty. There should be a fairness and equity, and a leader also must have the role modeling, must be a model in everything he's deciding to do. And the last one about the key features for this core competence of ethical leadership is about a moral decision making. It means that we have to take a decision morally by deciding what is right and what is wrong. By giving you an example, a leader must show the equal distribution of resources. In terms of ethics, a leader must have an equal distribution. If there is the availability of resources, he has to divide them and distribute in the staff equally. And the next is avoiding the favoritism. As a leader, you have to have the knowledge about the ignoring favoritism in you, so that you cannot favor one and ignoring others. The next core competence is about accountability. When you say accountability, we are dealing with asking about you as a leader the responsibility. It means that the reader must have the knowledge about asking others the responsibilities of what he has to do, and also be accountable for all activities that is being done in school. And a reader must also be answer to the stakeholders what he has to do. Right?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to continue the case study number 4. Say that the conflict resolution at Horizon Secondary School. Horizon Secondary School is mixed day school with 1,700 students and 14 teaching staff. Recently, the school has experienced sweat conflict among the staff and between the students. For example, teachers have disagreed over the allocation of limited teaching resources such as laboratory time and the textbook. Some students have also clashed during the sports competition and club activity due to competition for leadership role and recognition. The principal Mathieu Jack released that these conflicts were affected teaching quality, student engagement, and overall school climate. He recognizes the unresolved conflict could lead to low moral, poor collaboration, and reduce student performance. Okay. For example, after training two students disputing leadership of the debate, club were guided by trained peer mediator, allow both to share perspective and act on collaboration solution as well as student leadership role were clarified to reduce uptick and prevent load-based conflict. Additionally, science teacher collaborate on joint project schemes instead of competing for lab time. Teacher were better able to address disagreement over curriculum planning without extracting tension. Next. Okay. As an outcome, Horizon Secondary School saw the improved staff collaboration, high student engagement, and replaceable reduce the conflict impact. Conflict that into did arise well approached constructive, turning the potential competition situation into the opportunity for learning and cooperation. Here, I have the more questions according to your case study after to read. Firstly, it said that to identify the main source of conflict in the Horizon Secondary School and explaining how they reflected both competition and cooperative context. The second is discuss how open communication channel can prevent conflict from escalating and provide relevant example for the case study. The last one is explain the role of mediation and peer support in resolving conflict and how it contributes the positive school climate. Okay, the first thing, when you call the conflict resolution, it's formal or informal. The process two or more the parties use it to address disagreement in order to reach the peaceful. According to case study, I have the many source of conflict and the context. Firstly is competitive context. The teacher crashed over the limited teaching resource.
Good morning.
How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Now we are going to see on case study 3, which is talking about conflict management in schools. In schools, we meet with some conflicts which can bring a very complicated problem. So here, I designed the case study on it so that those problems can be solved. Here, the better educators and the students understand the nature of conflict, the better able they are to manage the conflict constructively. And Moren says about it, sees the conflict management as a philosophy and a set of skills that assist individuals and groups in better understanding and dealing with the conflict as it arises in all aspects of their lives. He sees it as a philosophy and skills. And conflict as a concept never remained positive or negative, but it has always been seen as a basic and result-oriented part of school life. Then conflicts offer competitive as well as cooperative context in organization, but they are very according to the situation. Problem exists in managing conflicts when the context is congruent. The effectiveness of conflict resolution and peer mediation program may be limited when the classroom and school context is competitive. Let us continue. Conflicts include shared resources, difference in goals, differences in perceptions and values, disagreements in the role of requirements, nature of work activity, individual approaches, and the stage of organization development. Those are examples of conflicts. Shared resources, differences in goals. You may have your goal and the other one have his goal. Then you have conflicts in that. And even perception, values, disagreement on some things. Here we are required, better educators and students understand the nature of conflict, the better able they are to manage conflicts constructively, based on the assertion that the better educator and the students understand the nature of conflict, the better able to explain the importance of understanding conflict for effective school management. This assertion is explaining the importance, the role of understanding conflict for effective school management, and identifying and analyzing common sources of conflict in schools. We are required to identify and even to analyze what are the sources of conflict in the schools. Highlighted in the case study, like this one, shared resources, difference in goals, and etc. So use the example from your own school context where possible. And as a school leader, describe the challenges you have experienced in resolving conflict among the staff, students, and between staff and the students. Discuss how this.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine.
Okay, now we are going to proceed with case study number 6, which is leadership style at Muhabura Secondary School. So we know that in the leadership style, it is all about how the leaders behaves in order to influence pupils, such as staff members, to work together in order to reach on their common goals. So here there is a case study which is talking about the leadership style at Muhabura Secondary School. Muhabura Secondary School is co-education schools with 800 students and 50 staff members. Over the past few years, the school has faced challenges with staff motivation, student engagement, and implementation of innovative teaching methods. To address those issues, Ruhengeri Diocese appointed a new principal, Father Evariste and Father Consolata, to manage the school. Those first adopted different leadership strategies to improve overall school performance. They both exhibit transformational leadership because they inspire leadership to adopt modern teaching methods, integrating technology in classroom and engaging creative lesson planning. For instance, they motivate the science department to conduct interactive experiments and student-led projects, fostering a culture of motivation. At the same time, some tasks required transformational leadership, such as ensuring that teachers submit reports on time and adhere to the official curriculum. They use a system of rewards and recognition for timely submissions and set clear consequences for missed deadlines. They also demonstrate awareness of contagious leadership, adjusting their style based on their situation. For example, during staff disagreements over resources allocation, they take a participative approach, allowing teachers to discuss and agree on fair solutions. Next. In contrast, during emergency situations such as student suffering concerns, he makes quickly directive decision to ensure immediate action. Those first embeds the traits of effective leaders such as visionary, approachable, and ethical, communicates clearly with staff and students, and takes responsibility for ethical and ethical. The outcomes of their decisions, they perform key leadership functions, including setting the school version, motivating staff, solving conflicts, monitoring performance, and making ethical decisions in terms of power, authority, responsibility, and accountability. Both crests exercise the ability to influence teachers and make official decisions such as student discipline, authority, and ensure staff fulfill curriculum obligations, and report school performance to a board of directors. As a result of their leadership, staff morale has improved. Teaching methods are more innovative, and students' engagement has increased. However, some staff members still prefer strict rules and are
Case study number 5. Case study on the importance of management. Management is a vital aspect of the economic life of man, which is the organized group activity. It is considered the indispensable institution in the modern social organization marked by scientific tools and technology innovation. One or other form of management is essential where human effort are to be undertaken collectively to satisfy one through some productive activity. Person or profession, it is the management that regulates a man's productive activity through the coordinated use of material source without leadership provided by management, and misuse of production remain resource and never become production. Now, explain the different level. Here we have the question. Explain the different level of management in education institution and describe the specific skills and competence required by school manager at each level as they move up the hierarchy. In your answer, illustrate how the skills support effective decision making, leadership, and overall school performance. Explain the communication process in education setting using diagram to illustrate the flow of information in your answer. Discuss the various effective communication that can occur in school and how can make effective teaching, learning, and administrative. Next, efficiency. Here we have the importance of management in a school. The question number A, level of management and the required skills. Management is indispensable institution that regulate productive activity through coordinated resources. While the resources School manager needed the ability to provide leadership that transform raw resources into actual production as they move the hierarchy. They require high-level competence in scientific and technology innovation to manage complex group activity effectively. Question number B. The communication process and barrier. Effective communication is essential for administrative efficiency, while the barriers such as poor communication channel or competitive school climate can result the flow of information related to misunderstand, reduce teaching, quality and administrative function. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here by the name of Christian. I'm going to make a presentation on the question number 1, which says that which is to explain about the professional standards of school leadership in Rwanda. Here I have summarized table of those professional standards, consisting those professional standards and the main focus and also the key responsibilities of school leaders and even the expected outcomes in the school. The first professional standard, it is creating strategic direction for the school. This is a professional standard which was developed by Rwanda Basic Educational Board, and it is the responsibility of school leader where must focus on establishing the vision, mission, and the long-term goals of the school. But there is a key responsibility of this school leader. He must develop a shared vision, mission, and values with stakeholders. And through this creating strategic direction for the school, there is expected outcomes where it will lead to the clear direction for the school, coordinated actions, and the improved student learning outcomes. The second one, it is reading learning. This is the central responsibility of school leader, where school leader must focus on ensuring effective student learning and achievement. But the key responsibility of him, it is to focus on improving student performance, support implementation of full competence-based curriculum, and monitoring student progress and assessment practices. And this will lead to these outcomes in the school, where there will be improved student achievement and better assessment practices. The third one, it is the third professional standard, it is reading teaching. This reading teaching, it is where the school leader must focus on supporting teachers to deliver higher quality instruction. And the key responsibility of school leaders on this professional standard of reading teaching, it is to provide the teacher induction and mentoring, and also organizing continuous professional development, what we already know as CPD. And due to this reading teaching, it will read the outcomes in the school, where they improve the teacher competence and better teaching practice and enhancing instructional quality will be the outcomes in the school. The fourth professional standard, it is managing the school as an organization. This is where school leader must ensuring the effective management of school and the system, where will manage human, financial, and physical resources, establish clear policies and procedures, and also ensuring efficient administrative systems. So, for managing school as an organization, we cause this outcome where there will be efficient school operations, accountability, and effective
school reader. It is justified by legal in the National Education Bond. It provides the right for school reader constructed by national institution. In Article 20, say that the education, all peoples or live in Rwanda have right to education, and the Article of 24 is education for all. All people have right to educate. Then, for this national educational system, when we say the national educational system is developed from national education bond up to the school reader. The reader of national education bond up to the school reader is called national educational system, operate under the legal framework. The Constitution of Rwanda, as I said above, which established education as fundamental human right. Education is fundamental human right within the system. The school reader have the following law. The first law of school reader is police compliance. For this police compliance, readers are responsible to ensure that all schools operation aligned with the national educational policy, such as educational sector policy and educational sector strategic plan. All educators, such as teachers, are aligned by national educational system. Then, the second law of school reader is organization and management. They have right to and duties to manage the school as organization with involving organizing human resource, managing school budget, and monitoring physical infrastructure such as schools and the other infrastructure, laboratory, ice room, or human resource, managing school budget and infrastructure. The school reader have responsible to manage it. Then the third law of school reader is instructional leadership. Instructional leadership, it emphasizes for the supporting implementation of CPC, competence curriculum, competence-based curriculum. For implementation, the reader can monitor its implementation, how the CPC are being monitored. The teacher or other educator, how we can use CPC. Then the second, to monitor the quality of teaching and learning, how the teaching and the learning are in your school. Then the fourth law is quality assurance in coordination with the national education, national examination and school inspector authority.